Hello, guys. Good evening. First of all, a very happy Diwali to everyone. We are recording this episode on the eve of Diwali, so if you do find any disturbances, I'm sorry. That's people are bursting crackers around. So, welcome to the Silly Pointer. This is a show that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I thought I'll just wing it. Today, we'll be covering India's World Cup campaign so far. As Harsha Vogle says, everything is a story, and there are a million ways to tell the story that of the campaign that India has had so far in the World Cup. What a beautiful campaign on and off the field Rohit and Co have treated us to. It's brilliant what we've gotten to see. It's nothing short of magic and actually gives us joy every single time India has taken field. This deserves some discussion, right? Uh, so I'm just gonna talk. I've prepared a few pointers which I would want to cover, right? And I would appreciate if you want to add on to some of your pointers and observations from the World Cup campaign in the comments, right? So let's actually start from a few months before the World Cup. Indian cricket, particularly in the limited overs format, was not actually in a great place. Where we were talking about, a constant experimentation that was being done in the Dravid and Rohit era, and I am guilty of that as well. I was unsure with the kind of chopping and changing that was happening. There weren't any clearly defined roles, and we did not know what the playing 11 was, and the perpetual number 4 conundrum, and certain uncontrollable variables also with regards to injuries to certain key players, forming part of the circumstance that India faced itself in before the World Cup. Um, but Rohit and Dravid really did not change the template. They believed in something and they decided to go through with it. At that particular point in time, it made no sense whatsoever to the general fan or the audience, and as I said, including me as well. And I was really worried we are hurtling towards another campaign filled with disappointment and probably a group stage exit. That also depended on lack of clarity around injuries to key players and when they might return. Shreyas Iyer, Jasprit Bumrah, and in the absence of and KL Rahul. So in the absence of Iyer and Rahul, who forms a part of our middle order? Where does Ishan Kishan play? Does he come in as a backup opener, or if Iyer and Rahul are not fit, do we slot Ishan in the middle order? And what do we do with Sky? And all of those questions, right? Um, Surprisingly, if as this was not enough, yeah, we did see the inclusion of Bumrah and Rahul coming back right before the World Cup. Bumrah, obviously, I think playing the Ireland series as part of his comeback, and I think Rahul played the Australia series, if I'm not wrong. Please correct me if Rahul did actually play the series before Australia. But we had. Who's the pacer who just replaced Hardik Pandya in the squad? Actually, Hardik Pandya was also a doubtful. He wasn't a doubtful starter, but people did not know what was his fitness levels with regards to how much he will be bowling and stuff like that, right? So India actually found themselves in a spot of bother heading into the World Cup. World Cup at home, and I don't have to remind you, right? It's all over the place, it's all over reels, it's all over our memories of what happened the last time we played at home. That iconic MSD 6 to finish it all off. And unfortunately, we haven't won a World Cup since. And I think it's also been about a good 10 years since India has won an ICC trophy. Now, I did think initially we should get into, what happened in the previous 10 years, and, where was Indian cricket and where did it get to. But I thought, it would be unfair on the captains to to have a comparison between the previous captain, Virat, and the current captain Rohit. So I actually just want to focus on the lead up to the campaign and the campaign itself, right? Now, this being not enough, India does something really peculiar. So, Akshar Patel has an injury just at the start of the Asia Cup, and they call upon Ashwin and they say you're in standby, and this is as Ashwin quoted in his channel, that you're in standby, and I know that Ashwin has been playing some. So Rohit has this conversation with Ashwin. This is how the conversation goes, right? So Rohit is obviously aware that Ashwin has been playing some domestic cricket as part of the Tamil Nadu Premier League. So he has had some competitive game time, although he was nowhere close to the full intensity of training for a World Cup, because he did not expect a call up. But like a couple of weeks prior to announcing the team, Rohit has had this internal discussion with Ashwin where he's asked him to be on standby, be if available. And then when the provisional squad and the final squad is announced, you find Ashwin's name in the squad in place of Akshar Patel. Now that starts raising questions again, where as to now you have KL Rahul, you have Jasprit Bumrah, you have Shreyas Iyer, who's come in. They're all major pivotal part of the squad as part of India's preparation for the World Cup in the past 2 years. Given where Iyer, Rahul used to play in the team, and Bumrah being the spearhead of our bowling attack, and now to include Ashwin. Now he started raising questions as to what brand of cricket are India going to play, how is Rohit going to approach the innings up front, what sort of combination are India going to go with, whether Hardik is going to be able to bowl a full quota of his 10 overs, can we consider him as our fifth bowling option and our third pacer, how many spinners are India going to go with, who's going to be our number 4, who's going to be our number 8, there are a lot of questions to answer, right? And this is how India start the campaign. So there were no indications as to what India was going to be doing in the coming weeks when India take on Australia in Chennai. A very high pressure game. To be honest, I really did not have any solid prediction to the game, while I hoped that India do play Ashwin because of the familiarity in the conditions that he has, and with the record that he has against Australia. But I was really apprehensive about we making a dominant mark. But look at how they went by. Bumrah provides a perfect start to the game, and then you have the Australians collapsing and folding up to less than 200 total. This is the sign where it would be too early to predict, but I think a clear sign of two things, for things to come, which I actually noticed and which I actually wrote about as well as part of one of my game previews, which was covered by Crickbus in one of its articles, middle of the tournament as well, was two things. One is the bowlers seem to have a clear defined role as to who's gonna bowl which lengths and what is the role in their team, right? And secondly, I think this is the most underrated trait for India this entire campaign, which is Rohit's middle over tactical brilliance. I don't think any other team has been as tactically brilliant as India has been. We will subsequently talk about a lot of other things that India has done right, which the world has been gushing about. No discredit to that, but I think the most underrated trait for India this campaign has been the way Rohit has managed to operate his bowlers whenever he had six bowling options, and after Pandya's injury, the five bowling options, it's been amazing to watch. It goes to highlight the importance of the 50 over format from a true cricket fan's perspective. I really, really, really hope that the ICC and the boards, at least India, Australia, and England, being the influencing authorities in the ICC committee, do come up with a structure which allows for the 50 over format to thrive. Because here's the thing, right? T20, as we all know, is about going bang, bang, bang. Uh, and test format is a true test of the game. But here is a format which lies in between the test and the T20 format, wherein you may, from a viewership standpoint, it may seem far too long given the commitments that we have and given the fast pace of life that we have. And also, probably it may not be as commercially viable for the advertisers and the other stakeholders involved in the ecosystem as much as a T20 league and an international is. But truly, from a cricketing sense, no other format gives you a clear indication of a team's strategy as much as a 50 over format does. And this is what Rohit has aimed to achieve, and I think he has had brilliant success with it, and I think that's something that comes naturally to him. So I am totally in awe of Rohit's captaincy over here. Okay, moving on. What happened in the second innings, right, in the Australia game? Oh my God. I still remember, while I was catching the game, right, and Rohit is yet to get off the mark. He has faced five balls, and he's yet to get off the mark. And you have the Australian pace attack steaming in that mentality, the Australian mentality of not wanting to give up and knowing that there's just half the game that's done. Yes, it's only a 199 or a 200 score to defend, but they are going to make India work for each run. Rohit fails to get off the mark, and then Rohit gets trapped. I think it was Hazelwood who traps him in front, and then Gill follows, and then Iyer follows, if I'm not wrong. And now India are 2 for 3, and you have Virat Kohli and KL Rahul in the middle, and you have a target of 200 in Chennai under lights, Australian Pacers on fire, on song, and I think the memories of each and every Indian cricket fan going back to every single time we collapsed when there was a brilliant fast bowling on display. And it seemed as if, oh my God, this is a story that is getting repeated again. And Kohli almost gave us another heart attack when he mistimed a pull shot. India were supposed to be 19 for 4, if I'm not wrong, but for that drop catch. I think it was Mitch Marsh who dropped it, if I'm not wrong. And from there, I spoke about Rohit's tactical brilliance as a captain to navigate his bowlers through the middle overs, right? Here is the chase master, here is the legend of the game, pacing the innings, reading the situation, and guiding another senior pro in the team. And these two forming a partnership for the ages, to bail India out and to get us home. It was a beautiful partnership to witness. Nothing fancy, pure old classic one day cricket on display, but taking each and every bowler on, taking on the opposition captain's tactics, not allowing the pressure of the situation to get through to you, and having that mental stability and the reading of the game to be aware of where you are and what's needed to get you home. Beautiful game followed by the India-Afghanistan game. Rohit went berserk. I think what had happened was that in a way, and this is just my reading of it, but in a way, Rohit failing in the first game and seeing India in a spot of bother by probably being a little bit conservative than what he could have been in the Australia game kind of had that switch in his mentality, and he had stated it in before the World Cup, that he wanted to be in the mental frame that he was in before the 2019 World Cup, and there was no stopping Rohit after that, right? So the India-Afghanistan game, the India-Pakistan game, Rohit just gave us those starts which kind of negated each and every strategy that the opposition captain might have had in having that early advantage against India. What a selfless character and what a selfless talent on display, just to go out there and express himself the way I think he does best. And he might have reinvented himself as well. There are going to be a lot of talk and conversation around the senior pros careers in the Indian team after the World Cup. I think we need to cover that in a different episode. But Rohit Sharma, man, I think regardless of where India reach in this campaign, and I to say they truly deserve the cup. But regardless of whether they get it or not, I think Rohit Sharma has to be given as much credit as he has been given throughout his career so far, just for this one particular campaign. It's amazing to see the leadership that he has kind of cultivated, the mentality, the culture that he's cultivated within the team. I can keep talking, and this was something that I hadn't prepared for, and I just had a few notes to cover, but it's as much as I relive this campaign, it's far too lovely to witness, not only from a cricketing standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint, from a team building, a culture standpoint, from something that you make high performing individuals aligned to certain tasks and certain roles and certain situations, high pressure situations, to achieve something that each one of you have been preparing for your entire life, is something that's truly exceptional and brilliant to watch when it gets unfolded. And what better than it getting unfolded on a cricket ground? So the India-Pakistan game was, a subdued, one-sided affair. But again, Bumrah and Siraj coming back in those middle overs and rattling Pakistan out from 150 for two was brilliant to witness. Again, the middle over tactical brilliance from Rohit stole the show off. There's one interesting thing to notice. Rohit had his core leadership group who took the team along with him. And who better than Kohli to kind of do this along with Rohit? And the sort of understanding that these two guys have had goes to say that there have been many backroom conversations even before the start of the World Cup between these two, and probably amongst the other leadership group, I presume that consisting of KL Rahul, Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya, if not the others, on what sort of a campaign do they want to run and what inputs does each one have. The constant communication and the trust that each one of them had on the other was another thing that I think Indian team had a privilege in this campaign. How many current and potential IPL captains do we have in our playing 11? I think six, if I'm not wrong. I don't want to name them, but six current and potential IPL captains playing for a World Cup team. It's truly a privilege to have. I know you may say that too many cooks spoil the soup or spoil the broth, but again, here's where Rohit has earned massive respect in giving that sort of space, the clarity, and the respect that each one of these individuals command in contributing to the campaign that we've witnessed over the past few weeks that India have managed to put on. So the India-Bangladesh game, Kohli takes over the show, and, and there's nothing. I mean, if I start talking about Kohli, that's a different episode in it altogether. Now the India-New Zealand game, right? Here is where things start changing. In my opinion, this was probably, if we consider the Australia game to be, but the Australia game, in my opinion, once Kohli and Rahul were set, they hardly offered any chances to the Australians to get back into the game. Yes, India were in a spot of bother earlier in the game, but once they settled in, I think most of India's chase was a controlled chase. But the India-New Zealand game, right now, here is where I think India got tested to a bit. But what do I say, man? Mohammad Shami, this man, even before playing his first game, being the India New Zealand game, was already the fastest to the number of wickets that he had in the World Cups, if I'm not wrong, at least for India. And uh, and he has been India's strike bowler along with Siraj in the absence of Bumrah, right? Now, look at the situation that India finds itself in. Bumrah comes back right before the World Cup, and Siraj is in this omnious form. So Shami doesn't find a place just because of the combination that they are playing. It's incredible. It's almost unbelievable that someone of the caliber of Shami and the form that he was in and the results that he had produced in recent times for India, especially at home, he did not find a place in the playing 11. And it took an injury of Hardik Pandya, Shami not even being the like for like replacement for Pandya, but by then, I think what had happened also was that the Indian top and middle order giving those consistent performances might have actually given Rohit the confidence to play a batsman shot because if you, I mean, the moment Hardik got injured, you knew that you had to make that sacrifice because Hardik gave you that dual role of being an all-rounder. So, but that did give, I think, Rohit the confidence of playing a batsman shot and actually bringing in Shami and also being comfortable with Shardul sitting out and going with a pure five bowling option. I thought this would be a true test for Rohit Sharma's, the middle order tactics that he had been successful with so far, because the primary component for a captain in rotating bowlers is that he has options to do it. And what a sixth bowling option gives you is that according to the situation and according to the matchups and according to a bowler's rhythm and a lot of factors might come into play, right? Or according to the future reading of the game. Like for example, we are probably in the 30th or 35th over and Bumrah has about 5 overs left, right? Now the captain has to make a call whether or not you make Bumrah bowl a second spell or a third spell of a couple of overs and then leave just a couple of overs or 3 overs for Bumrah at the death, or do you reserve him and you control the run flow at the death. This decision becomes easier for a captain when you have a sixth bowler because they kind of fill in those overs for you, right? But from the New Zealand game onwards, Rohit did not have it. And touch wood, and I'm not saying this is luck, this is actually the brilliance of the Indian bowling lineup. Now, I haven't spoken about it, and again, I think this deserves an episode in itself. But I think the Indian bowling lineup is the real hero of this World Cup as a collective unit. I mean, I spoke about Rohit, I spoke about the Indian top order, the Indian middle order, the leadership group, and as a team what they've been doing. But the Indian bowling has been exceptional, has been outstanding to an extent where we've had people questioning the fairness of the ball that is being given to the Indian bowlers with regards to the opponent. That on a side note, actually, that should be taken as a compliment that we are so far apart in class and in form with our oppositions that the question is on the fairness of play in itself. But my God, Shami coming in, taking that fifer against a very confident New Zealand batting, and Kohli again playing a mature knock, and we were really tested to a place where Jaddu came into bat for the first time in the tournament. And I think this is our sixth game, or I mean the fifth game that I'm talking about. So that's how good our top order and middle order has been. But that was very crucial for Jaddu to spend that time in the middle and see through India in that situation. Might have given the lower order and again Rohit a lot of confidence that the combination that he is going with is actually going to be more than enough to approach further games and the situation overall. The India England game, right? I just have one point over here. Rohit seemed to have adopted a template before this game that he's going to be providing that platform for the other batsmen to come in and just take it on from there. And as we have spoken about, and as every one of you might have observed it for your own self, that actually was working for them. Now here is where the difference between a good player and a legend. India again found themselves in a bit of a bother when their top order failed against England. And Rohit, you should see that switch that he had from being an explosive batsman throughout the tournament all this while to just sort of anchoring that innings to sort of playing that innings that Kohli plays, or KL Rahul is supposed to play in the middle order, right? Now, I think over here Rohit has elevated himself. Rohit is not playing only as an explosive batsman. Rohit is saying that I'm still here and I can play any role that the game demands me to, and I will cope up the pressure and I can make the switch in my batting style and adopting the pressure in like a few moments. And that for us as viewers may seem easy, that he's taking his time, but then to curtail your natural instincts of going aggressive, especially when it's been working for you, speaks a lot about his skill and his mental clarity that he has. I think Rohit has been the standout performer for us in this World Cup across his batting, his leadership, and every other thing that he's managed to do for this campaign for the country. The India Sri Lanka game was, what do I say? Kohli got his Kohli again playing a brilliant knock, but Iyer and Gill as well then cementing their form, which I think is going to be very crucial as we head into the semis, where we meet our a similar force New Zealand, and then the India South Africa game as well. My God, the bowling in both those games, we thought we'd seen it all, but it was just unreal. It was just unreal to see the way these guys are exploiting the conditions, the confidence that these guys have on on themselves to come through. Here another point to Rohit, right? Not in this game. Actually, I think in the middle of the campaign, Siraj was not performing as much as you would have expected him to. Siraj was the guy who was touted to give you wickets in the power play, and he had been doing it for us right up to the Asia Cup or probably even in the Australia series. But we did not see that happening with Siraj. And credit to Rohit to keep sticking to him, to keep giving him those overs, and to allow him to get into a rhythm. And the way he's delivered on those has been fantastic. One last point as to cover as part of the campaign so far is something that we've seen and is something I think that's on the hearts of all of us. Um, our Sridhar, our fielding coach, and the medal for the best fielder. Guys, I don't know what position you are in your professional life, or are you in a position to influence fellow peers or your team? But uh, please learn from this campaign. I think there's a lot to learn from this campaign and adapt into our personal and professional lives. And one of the things that is so critical, and that is so that might be intangible directly as compared to what is happening on the field, are things like this, right? Look at the environment in the team, and it's not just the players and the support staff. You see the wives of each of these players also posting the stories. I saw Priti, who's Ashwin's wife, posting a couple of these stories, and they just seem to have a lot of fun, and there's just a purpose attached. There's an incentive. There is a fun element attached to something that you're supposed to be doing. Um Easier said than done. I think I would like to deep dive on this probably in some other episode. But I think that thing that the fielding medal, I'm sure it's the brainchild again of the core leadership group that's involved. But the way it's been executed and the impact that it has had on this campaign makes India look like a team which is having a lot of fun and is creating a lot of memories in this campaign. And the cup just seems to be something that comes along with the way that they are playing, with the way that they are playing, with the way that they are bonding. And that is what I believe, guys, is the true hallmark of creating, building something exceptional. It becomes so fun and it becomes so engrossed that the thing that you work for is actually on the side, and you just do it for the sake of having fun, and that just so that you're so involved in that particular moment. And I think that's what this team has managed to achieve. um, Exciting times for India ahead. There's a lot to cover. I wanted to do this. I don't know how long this has been, um, but I hope I get to do more of this, cover more of this content, and this is my first try. Apologies for anything that may not seem in place. There's a lot to speak about. I hope I get to do this more often. But thank you so much, and we'll meet you soon. In the meanwhile, I think there's still a game to go in the league stages. India play Netherlands, and then of course the semi-finals and the finals. It's going to be a brilliant week of cricket, and something that all of us are looking forward to. So yeah, hope to catch you guys soon. A very happy Diwali. Bye bye. Take care.